Is it wrong to have lots of different denominations? Is that a bad thing? Well, yes and no. It's a bad thing because it speaks of disunity. It speaks of separation. It speaks of division, and that's bad. It's not bad necessarily because diversity is great. I mean, the body, the physical body, the hands are different than the head. The head's different than the legs. Each part of the body is different. And the mouth is different than the ears, and even the fingers function differently. So if we can have diversity within one body, great. So you have different denominations because you have different emphases. You have different denominations because you have different cultures. You have different denominations because people have different burdens and different visions, and that can be fine, just like the hands are different than the feet and the fingers are different from each other, and we have diversity within the body. And that's the image that Paul uses in 1 Corinthians 12, also in Romans 12. When he's speaking about unity and diversity, he uses the image of the physical body. But it's also important to look at Ephesians chapter 4. And in Ephesians 4 through 6, Paul calls us to unity. There's one body and one spirit, just as you were called to the one hope that belongs to your call. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all and through all and in all. If within our different denominations we recognize there is one Savior and Lord that we have in common, we agree on the fundamentals of the faith, and we can work together to see the gospel go forward in our generation, rather than work against each other, rather than see each other as competitors and enemies, rather than as colleagues and fellow workers, then we can have our diversity. And this group has a greater emphasis on this, and this group a greater strength here, and this group a greater gift here, and this group a greater burden here, and this group a greater understanding of this particular aspect of God, and this group a greater understanding of another aspect of God. If we can function as one body in the midst of our diversity, fine. You do not have to have just one church name. You can have the different groups, but if we are not working together, if we are fighting against each other, if we are competing against each other, then we are fighting against the purposes of God, because He wants us to be one.